Time Loan. A young man who has been struggling with money all his life comes across an app that offers to trade his time for cash. Thinking it's a perfect opportunity to upgrade his life, he trades his 10 years for 500,000 yuan. Unfortunately, a silly mistake makes him lose all the money, and he has to start again from scratch. Meet Lou. He has been working to build up his comic book for 3 years. However, he hasn't been able to publish his book yet due to numerous rejections by editors. An editor named Jin asks him to try again 2 years later, citing that the market isn't currently in favor of his kind of book. However, Liu has set up his mind and leaves her office unsatisfied with her reaction. Overwhelmed by the situation, he heads to a small stall to drink it out. Shortly afterward, he is spotted by a friendly coworker who seems to know about his comics. As she sits down, she mentions to Liu a new way she has learned to make money. He then complains about his comic disapproval. During their talk, she mysteriously disappears into thin air, leaving her phone behind. A 2-minute countdown sets off on her phone, which Liu then picks up. He moves around, trying to call out for her to no avail. 2 minutes go by and the lady reappears, as if from another dimension. On her phone, 50 Chinese yuan instantly reflects, but Liu hardly notices as he rushes to the lady. He tries inquiring about her sudden disappearance, but she quickly deviates from the story as if nothing happened. She then suggests Liu publish the book by himself in the future after getting enough money. Later on, Liu heads home and finds a magazine titled Time Loan on his door, but he doesn't show much interest in it. He carefully sneaks into the house, careful not to wake his sleeping mother. It turns out that the 26-year-old Liu lives with his mom and hasn't paid rent for some time. In his bedroom, he makes calls trying to seek assistance with his comics, but is turned down as usual. Unfortunately, this awakens his mother, who threatens to dispose of his items if he fails to pay the rent. She also despises his comics, saying he should have gotten a serious job after his graduation. However, Liu doesn't say a word and goes on to check the magazine as he dozes off. The magazine advertises a time loan application where one can earn money in exchange for their lifetime. Realizing he can make money easily, he quickly sets up an account. After he's done with registration, the app immediately calculates Liu's time worth, and his rate stands at 60 yuan per hour. He finally signs up for a deal as he sleeps, which subsequently sets off a mysterious clock. When he gets up and ready for work, he bumps into his mother, who is happy to have finally caught him before he left. It doesn't occur to him that he hasn't left his room for days, which made his mother think he sneaks out early. Nevertheless, Liu has made a lot of money and sends her 2 months' rent as he leaves. It's revealed that Liu has already received his first payment after selling his time. Then he sets out to work, and turns out he works as a delivery man. He rides freely as he reminisces over his quick-earned money. This makes him inattentive, and he ends up dropping a delivery package which unfortunately breaks down. Coincidentally, the package belongs to the time loan company, and he delivers it to their headquarters. He then attempts to leave fast, trying to escape the situation, but the receptionist is quick to notice the damaged package, resulting in Liu's capture and sedation. On the other side of the building, a doctor approaches a man, informing him that his tumor cells are getting better. It turns out that the man is the boss of the time loan company and consumes people's time, which keeps him alive. The boss then directs the doctor to use Liu's time that he owes due to the package's damage caused by him. Then he gets into a machine to siphon Liu's time. Since the amount is huge, the transaction takes 33 days, after which Liu is released to go home. This huge deduction opens his eyes as he considers selling his time to acquire money to publish his book. He rushes to editor Jin, who estimates the publishing cost for him. Approximately, it will cost him 500,000 yuan, which, according to his calculation, would take him 3 years to make using the app. His decision is highly criticized by his friend, who cites that much can happen within the 3 years period. However, Liu has already made up his mind and heads back to sign a deal with the company. To his surprise, he is informed that it will take him 10 years and not 3 years as he had calculated. It turns out that his rate dropped from 60 to 10 yuan per hour after he is now unemployed because he destroyed the company's expensive package. Though the deal isn't sweet, his previous encounter with editors, coupled with his financial problems, pushes him to give in. Finally, he signs off the deal and instantly disappears into thin air. The clock ticks, and Liu wakes up 10 years later with a lot of money. He quickly sets out to publish his book and stocks up his store with lots of his books. Unexpectedly, the books don't sell as anticipated, as people are seemingly uninterested in them. Confused, he heads over to find Jin and realizes that she has since been promoted to chief editor. She is happy to see him after 10 years and recognizes his amazing book. She compares it to a comic book produced 2 years ago, which is doing well in the market. Surprisingly, Liu is taken aback as he realizes that the book's idea resembles his. Since it was published before his, reality checks in as his book do not sell well, because it has the same story as the book that has been released 2 years before. This renders all his efforts meaningless. Had he followed Jin's advice and waited 2 years to publish his book, maybe things would have turned out differently for him. The film ends as Liu makes a comeback in the delivery industry, this time with a new informed mindset about time, money, and life. Be Quiet. Our second film revolves around a young couple that is currently not on good terms. The man is seen coming home late, and when the woman sees him from the door, she immediately takes and throws his phone without saying a word, and she comes back into the house, leaving her husband wondering. The movie begins with a distressed woman named Lee drinking at a restaurant after getting off work. Meanwhile, she researches postpartum depression as she has recently become a mother. She ends up dozing off in the restaurant and is shocked when she wakes up. She immediately rushes home. There, she finds her friend who has been helping her babysit while she is at work. Lee has been forced to work even before fully recovering from childbirth to sustain their livelihood. She openly asks her if she regrets not choosing a rich fellow she had earlier introduced to her. It turns out that Lee opted to marry her husband out of love and declined to marry a rich guy. Though Lee doesn't admit it, she breaks down as she is undergoing a tough time as life becomes miserable by the day. After parting ways, Lee heads inside only to find the house in a total mess. She is, however, glad to see her baby sleeping peacefully. The already tired Lee gets to work and silently cleans the tiny house, but soon dozes off on the couch. She gets up when her husband Yusheng gets home and rushes to make sure he gets in quietly. The couple never talks loudly nor makes any noise to make sure the baby stays asleep. Yusheng gets in and checks on their baby before drawing his laptop to work. Lee then notices he left his shoes carelessly and brings them to him, indicating that she is too tired to take care of her husband. Trying to understand the situation, he places them correctly on the shoe rack and does the cabbie lame move. She then stares at him as if asking for his assistance, but he lip talks, saying he has some pending urgent work. Lee then proceeds to do manual laundry as they lack a washing machine. However, she is pissed off when she notices Yusheng scrolling through TikTok but doesn't say a word. Shortly afterward, he signals to her he is hungry and she heads over to prepare him food. Later on, Yusheng accidentally tips over breast milk, which spills all over. He immediately receives a call and signals her to wipe the milk as he heads out to receive the call. Lee is fed up and follows him outside where she throws his phone angrily. This leaves Yusheng wondering what her problem could be. As he stares at his crying wife, the movie cuts to earlier in the day as we see Yusheng's struggles. He had a rough day after his supervisor turned down his project. Despite this, he stops to buy his lovely wife a gift. As he gets home, he receives a call from his colleague who feels sorry for him. He offers to link him to a client who deals with pets and asks him to go through his TikTok videos. He then asks him to come up with a proposal they can present tomorrow in a meeting with the client. Yusheng then proceeds to the house but stops at the door before getting in. He clears off his gloomy face and replaces it with a smile to cover up for his bad day. Inside the house, he goes through the TikTok videos, which pissed off Lee as she thought he was having fun instead of helping her clean. Later on, he attempts to collect a fallen bottle, but accidentally tips and spills the milk. He is immediately called by his colleague, prompting him to answer the call, while leaving her to wipe off the milk. However, all this remains unknown to Lee, who presumes that she is suffering on her own. Since the couple doesn't talk loud, Lee texts them asking for a divorce. She cites that her life will be better off without him. However, he mentions that he even works overtime to pay for their bills. Even over the text, the couple hides much of their feelings as they don't send some texts as they type. Lee regrets not taking Mang's offer of dating the rich guys. On the other hand, Yusheng isn't happy to always find his wife in a terrible state every day. Sadly, they don't share this as everyone keeps to themselves. The tension eases when Yusheng sends her some cute stickers. Since their relationship is built out of love, this is enough to rekindle their spark and they reunite. He proceeds to offer her the gift and the couple joyfully plays together. Unfortunately, Yusheng makes a sound after being tickled, which wakes the baby. However, they don't seem bothered by the cries, as one of them will be attending to the baby soon. Visually impaired teacher. Our third film tells a story about a visually impaired teacher who, at first, is despised by everyone he meets. However, his dedication to teaching manages to change everyone's mindset as days go by. As the movie opens, the visually impaired teacher named Crew questions some students on why they dodged his class earlier on. The students openly cite their insecurities about being taught by someone who can't even see. The scene cuts to an earlier day as Crew calls out for class attendance and notices some students have skipped the class. Even those in attendance played carelessly since he couldn't see them. Later on, we learn that Crew graduated in an English major with first-class honors. Despite all this, people have already judged that he can't teach since he's a person with special care. In one of the parent meetings, the principal is overwhelmed by parents' murmurs, as they openly cite insecurities about their kids being taught by Crew. This brings the meeting to a halt, prompting the principal to signal for Crew to be led out of the meeting. Following this, the school's board decided to switch him from active teaching to the registrar's office. However, Crew is determined to teach and asks for a chance to do so. Being adamant about it, he is finally offered a bottom class to teach. The movie cuts to the opening scene, and Crew asks what he can do for them to attend his class. The students ridicule him as they ask him to move toward them without his walking stick. Surprisingly, he disposes of his stick and confidently walks towards them. His passion for teaching them melts their heart, and they rush to help him up as he trips and falls. Later on, he meets the class and addresses them, saying all he wishes for them is a success. After this, they all get to work, and Crew does his best to make learning exciting for them. He also teaches them a hack to close their eyes to recall things faster. One day, some students overhear a teacher saying that Crew's appointment in government service lies on the student's performance. They pass this information to their classmates, and they all purposely prepare for the exams. Finally, they undertake their exams as they employ techniques learned from Crew. In the end, it's a celebration as the class's performance is epic. In the final scene, students dedicate a song to him which melts his heart. The movie ends as Crew is admitted to government service and encourages all teachers to keep doing their best. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching!